Society of Snow. This movie was directed by J.A. Bayona. It was written by him, Jaime Marquez, and Bernat Villaplana. This story takes place in 1972 when an Uruguayan flight crashes in the remote heart of the Andes mountain. The few passengers who survive the crash find themselves in one of the world's toughest environments to survive. This movie is based on a true story. The 1972 crash was something that I remember learning about from a distance when I was smaller. I didn't know much about this story. And before I get into how I feel about it, I'd like to bring up something that really gave insight into the film as a whole. One of the survivors of this amazing story, his name is Roberto Canessa. And there was this interview that he speaks in, and he says that there was this book that was written. He says that this was an accurate telling of the story, but he tells the author, you failed to capture the soul of us, of the young men who were in the plane and our families as well. And the author responded, it's impossible for me to capture the soul of what happened up in those mountains. And after viewing the film, Roberto Canessa, one of the survivors, stated that this story captured the soul that so many depictions lacked. And with that being said, I'll go over to my feelings. This is a very tragic story, very heavy. Overall, this movie is one of great resolve. Something another survivor, Carlito Pai, said, that there was so much more to the story of what happened up in those mountains than what their source of food was. And I think this film really encapsulates that to a T. This movie, even though you might know how it ends, it has really great narrative and surprising shifts in the storytelling. I really appreciated the director's ability to, despite being, in a sense, limited to an ending, he still made a way to surprise the audience when it came to that perspective of storytelling. And it was really well done. Man, this is a nature versus man element. There are super wide shots, bird eye shots of the group in those mountains. And all you can see are mountains and the valley. And sometimes the group is nowhere to be seen. And it perfectly illustrates the situation. This environment is beautiful, but unforgiving. Something I really respect about the director is, in an interview, he said, this film has no extras. And I think it would be a disrespect to those who passed away if you did. And it just really shows that this film had so much respect and care and authenticity. I mean, all of these actors are from Uruguay, from the original place that these young men were from, these young men and their families. And the director is Spanish. There's a lot of genuineness to this film. This story takes place in their own country, and it's a story these actors were told as kids. And the director made sure that every single one of these actors had a contact to the families of either the survivors or those who passed away. And it's just, man, the level to respect this story and the people was amazing. You don't have to go that far. You don't have to do that extent. But they really did, and it just, I don't know, it really mattered. And the passion pours out from the screen. Our protagonist is Numa Turcati. He's played by Enzo Vogrincic, and he's someone who, in every single decision, does his best to do the right thing. In that sense, he leads. And you see how his character is very pivotal to the group, and you follow how this young man is put in an extremely pressured environment where eventually you would have to think the unthinkable. In this aspect of the film, the cannibalism aspect is done with a lot of respect. It's not shown, and it's obvious there was so much inner conflict with those who participated, but at the same time, so much respect. At the end of the film, you really see how everyone played a part in getting the few survivors who survived to the end, including the dead. It's done very admirably. This is a very technical film too. The sound editing for the snow is really well done. It's very sharp. It's always there. And it doesn't sound fake, because it actually isn't. This film was shot on location. These actors were freezing, really freezing. And the music is soft and has a lot of space. It allows for breathability. It's very ballad-like. I really like the music for this film, the score. Really good stuff. I don't talk about this enough, but the makeup department in this film did amazing. These actors have the black eyes here that illustrate the burntness of the eye. They have that, they have bruises, they have cuts, they have famine And the dedication of these actors is outstanding. Really good performances by all of these actors. There are scenes that involve a lot of emotional depth that I know had to require a lot from them. The cinematography was really nice, handheld camera, and it just added to that level of overwhelmingness. I was a huge fan of the editing as well. I could tell the editor was really good at creating the illusion of anxiety and the illusion of calmness throughout the film by using these cuts and extensions and reactions and whatever he or she had at their disposal. Really good stuff, man. All in all, I think what matters most when it comes to the reactions of this film is what the families and the survivors and the families of those who passed away think about this film. And there was many interviews done of those people after viewing this film. They had actually special premieres to those families. I believe it was about 150 members in total. And this was actually the first movie where they had the survivors and the families of those who passed away together in one premiere for the depiction of this story. And in the interviews, they say that they are so grateful for the film because they got to see their relatives again. And I think that just says so much about the authenticity of the film and its strive for genuineness, which is what the best movies do. I will have to give this film an A. This movie is rated R. It has full male frontal nudity at the end of the film. It is not sexual in any sense. It has very graphic violence, especially in that plane crash scene. It also has tame, strong language for a rated R film. There's about less than 5 curse words. One of the biggest aspects of this film is cannibalism of the dead. And I believe the most important disclaimer is how heavy this film is. It is not just for anybody, and it is not for just any afternoon. I believe you do have to be mentally strong, mentally well, because it is a very disturbing film. But at the very end of it, man, despite everything, it is very inspirational. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe, please support this channel, and leave a comment down below if you've seen this movie, like this video, and I'll be reviewing more things soon. Thank you so much. Bye bye.